This episode of the Flying Pigskin Show is sponsored by BRG Apartments.
If Marconi was alive today, this would be what he would be most proud of, the Flying Pigskin Show. Welcome back, everybody, to WCPO.com. Catherine Nero is here to help you weed your way through all this information the Bengals gave us Sunday in Houston.
Well, it was an up and down kind of roller coaster game, was it not?
It was like the Beast at Kings Island.
It was. Little rickety, little upsetting at times, but hey, got through it.
I don't know if you've heard of these things. They're called smartphones.
I have.
If you have a smartphone, you probably want to download the WCPO app because then you could listen to it in your car on the way into work. How about that?
Pretty fancy.
Or you could sit at home and just watch your computer, or if you're at work, boss isn't showing up for another hour, just watch us on WCPO.com, right?
That's why you're in this early, right?
Let me tell you this. I'm watching this game yesterday, Catherine, and I'm looking at Andy Dalton, and I'm looking at the Texans and J.J. Watt, and I'm waiting for the wheels to come flying off.
Agreed.
And they never came flying off.
Well, there was a time late in the game.
Yeah, there were.
You're like, eh.
A couple of the spokes got damaged. I think something happened there when that pick six happened. It's just like it often is at the game. You're like, oh my.
Here we go.
But
you know, we for a minute there we thought we had it.
But you know why it didn't happen? Andy had product in his hair during the game.
I'll tell you what.
He had product in his hair.
Rolling up afterwards,
Yes.
did he not?
He did.
That post game, he was well coiffed.
Yes. Yes. So there's something going on there.
Or he just has helmet head. I don't know. He always has that.
That was purposeful. That was one direction purposeful. I'm a big fan of it, although I hate the term the eyeball test.
Yes.
And then it's like, if you don't know the score, how does the game feel?
Yes.
The game felt terrible, as Charles
Terrible?
Barkley would say,
Didn't feel
toward
good?
the end. Not good at all. But
CB quotes.
you know what I mean? I felt like they were behind the entire third and fourth quarter until they, kind of came back at the end and got it done.
But they get it done. They're not a pretty team.
No.
They're a grinding team. They're not playing great quarterbacks. The only great I don't even use the word great. The only good quarterbacks they've beaten this year, Flacco twice and Breeze once. The rest have been kind of pedestrian. And so this guy yesterday apparently had a torn pectoral muscle.
Yeah.
Which I would never recommend to anyone. But it's just
especially if you're going to throw a ball.
Right. So they got a guy with one arm basically out there.
Right.
So they're not. But they're winning, and that's all that matters. They don't ask you what it looks like. They ask you how many you got. Mm-hmm. What a show we have coming up today. Dennis Janson is off the disabled list.
What now?
Yes, his scooter has been parked, and so apparently DJ is either awake at this hour or just
Still
rolling
up.
in from this hour.
Still
He's
up.
going to join us. Johnny Bag of Donuts. We haven't seen him in a long time. Still in his mom's basement. He's going to be checking in to let us know his thoughts on the game. Chris Riva, you ever heard of this guy, Riva?
Once or twice, yes.
He's in the newsroom doing social media.
I may or may not have helped him buy a Christmas tree today.
And he has, really?
Yeah.
And he has product in his
May
hair,
or may
too.
not.
Yes.
I even know what kind of product he uses.
Listen, Matt, this was actual work. We were talking about Black Friday deals, and I had to
Oh, there you go.
participate.
Wait, a Black
I know
Friday?
what I'm talking about.
A Black Friday deal on a Christmas tree?
Yeah, actually, you can get it today. So it's a pre-Black Friday deal.
Like a real tree?
A fake one.
Oh, a fake tree, a fake me-out tree. Do you know there's a guy that used to play for the Washington Redskins? He had two trees at his house. One was right side up, and the other was upside down. He had an upside-down Christmas tree.
Nuh-uh.
He had it. He hung it from his
purpose?
ceiling, just because he could do it. I forget the guy's name, but he always looked
It's
at me
like
like
Mount
he hated
Everest, Catherine.
Well, that narrows it down dramatically. Somebody who looks at you like they hate you.
me. The real McCoy is here today. Mike McCoy, I think, to pay off a bet, if I'm not mistaken.
It usually is.
Am I not mistaken?
I wimped out.
Yeah, he didn't bet.
I got
didn't
scared.
bet.
Really?
Yeah, I wimped out. I was scared of J.J. Watt, like you guys
He
said.
was
I
scared
thought
of the Saints too. Yeah,
Right.
Mike's, he's like a lot of
He's a
Bengals
conservative
fans,
Bengals
yeah,
fan.
You get queasy when you start thinking you're going to bet on him. That's just like the worst feeling in the world.
So
Like
Matt's back there with Mike and with Brian, who's the voice of apparently now the Flying Pig, because he did the billboard today. So
Love
that's
it.
huge.
This is a monumentous day.
It's
the history
unbelievable
of
day.
the Flying Pigskin.
It's unbelievable. I mean, what started out as
A sponsor.
like a college project? Something you would
It
do.
started out as a college
Like
project.
Professor Farnham's Communications 101 class.
Has it turned into like a thesis now?
It could be.
One never knows.
We might all be. We all be.
Yes.
Dean Warmer may be calling all of us before we're all done.
Yeah.
And Mr.
Okay.
Satin is here today too.
Excellent.
I don't know what he's been up to.
And apparently we're going to have to check Mr. Breech's computer skills. He's still having difficulties.
Is
Open
that
up
right?
the phone. Yes, we have to go to Miss. Good morning, Jim. How are you doing?
I'm well, yes. For whatever reason, yes, I'm having computer issues.
I hear Skype's down all over the country.
That's what we're going to go with.
They've woken Al Gore, and he's going to be working on it.
Jim, we have a question from one of our fine technicians here at Channel 9, and
It's a plethora.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Greg Reams wants to know that when you line up a kick, do you look at the goalpost, or do you look at the ball, or do you look at the crowd? What do you look at when you're lining a kick up?
When you line up the kick, yes, you do look at the goal. Well, except for Ray Wershing.
I was going to say, yeah.
He was the only one I've ever known that didn't look at the goalpost, but you pick a spot. Pick a spot up in the crowd, up something on a scoreboard or something. It's kind of your aiming point, and then you take your steps off of that. And obviously wind is a factor and all that. But like yesterday, there's no wind inside. So you just line it up down the middle, and you pick your spot and kick to that spot, hopefully.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that's good information.
Easy
Yeah.
peasy, right?
Remember Ray Wershing? He referred to didn't he, Jim? Didn't he say he didn't even look up?
No, he would look. He would only look at his holder, and then he'd tap his holder on the head, and he only worked off the hash marks, since the hash marks are as wide as the goalpost.
Right.
And he figured if he kept it inside the hash mark, he was going to be good.
Who was the best holder you ever had?
I don't know. I was pretty fortunate. Steve Kreider was phenomenal. Kurt Schoenert held for 1 year, our Super Bowl year in '88, and then Lee Johnson, my last 3 years. And they were all. I'll tell you what, they were all phenomenal. I was really, really fortunate because we can really make. You look at what's going on at Notre Dame right now. They've missed some big kicks the last few weeks because they've had some holder issues. They bring in somebody that the kicker's not confident in, can make all the difference in the world. So holders, snappers are huge.
Yesterday, and you and I visited a couple hours ago on Sports of All Sorts. I thought, Andy Dalton he's okay. I mean, it's like all these people that want Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. They don't exist anywhere except New England and Denver. If Dalton does that every week, they're going to be just fine, I think.
I agree. When you look around and you see what some of the other quarterback play is happening, there are a lot of guys that have. When I look at Ryan Mallett yesterday, threw the ball kind of like Andy threw it against Cleveland, kind of all over the place. And for the most part, that's kind of the performance he gives you. If they run the ball well, I think they could be. I think he can beat just about anybody, really.
Don't you think the defense is what won that game yesterday? 22 points doesn't win a whole lot of NFL football games.
Yeah,
the defense gave up 2 field goals. In the last 2 games, they've given up 16 points. That's what's winning these games.
I think coming into the season, we would have thought that was going to be the strength of the team anyway. And finally they're finding out how to stop the run, which they couldn't. I think in the last 2 games, they've given up as many rush yards as they had been averaging per game. So they're finding that, and by doing that, it's helping the offense. And what the offense did is they hung on to the ball 39 minutes, which gives the defense time to rest, and they come back out and play better. I think it's working. They work together that allow the defense to do the things that they do so well.
And I would submit that you could go back over the last 10, 15 years in the NFL, and you would find teams that won Super Bowls that had that kind of philosophy. The defense is going to win this thing. We're going to get just enough for. I mean, the classic example is Baltimore in 2000, but Tampa in 2002. I mean, there are a lot of examples. Seattle last year. I think it's just, what do we have to do to win this game? And, yesterday Bernard and Hill touched the ball almost 50% of the time. Mm-hmm. They had 38 touches in a 78-snap game. I think that's the recipe, particularly in this area of the country at this time of the year. I thought, Hugh Jackson's game plan was right on yesterday.
Yeah. Again, possessing the ball. If you have the ball, it's kind of hard to not have things go well. You got to finish drive. I think that's the thing. The one drive they got down there, and AJ's foot was like 6 inches out of bounds You got to finish that drive. Fortunately, came away with that safety, which really was huge at the end of the game, that point differential. But to your point, it's very difficult at this time to play defense just because of all the rules against the defenders. Yeah. However, they're doing a pretty good job of it. There are some teams doing a great job of it, and I think it does give you better opportunity.
I thought that safety, I thought that was one of the dumbest calls I ever saw. I mean, why would you run that play? Everybody knew that's what they were going to do
against that defense.
And if there's one guy on defense that blows it up, you're cooked. And I don't understand why you got a guy at quarterback that's 6'6". Yeah. Put your head down and just plow ahead for a couple of yards.
Did that a couple times. Yeah, trying to run wide down there. And exactly. If one guy slips through, which Atkins did. And then you saw the replay where Malaluga was just flying down there. So I mean, they anticipated what they were going to call. And, it's great for us. Here's for the Bengals, bad for Texans.
I'm curious. Okay, so I know a couple of the announcers were saying that the Bengals looked either fatigued or weren't used to the conditions because it was so cold and up here. So the Bengals went into the bubble at UC and maybe it threw them off and all of this. Does that kind of thing play into when you're going to a place like Houston where, the weather's not a factor. So as a former player, Jim, what does that do mentally to you, going inside, outside, and then heading on the road?
Well, what did Mr. Barney say? Fatigue makes cowards of us all. I think the thing was, you saw it in the last drive when they were trying to drive down. If you saw the pass rush, guys were exhausted. And, they just haven't been in heat. I'm sure, and I think, you got to be concerned again this week against Tampa, the same type of thing where, it's been colder here, and it's hard sometimes. I remember us going into Dallas one time, late November, early December, and it was like 90 degrees inside that dome of theirs with the hole in the roof, so God could look down on you, of course.
Jim, what did you think yesterday having Gio back for the first time? We're going to have a poll question this week. Is after having Hill by himself for a few weeks, who do you think should have more carries on the Cincinnati Bengals week to week? Jeremy Hill?
I think they should split it up. I'm fine with it. I do like the idea that Jeremy Hill finishes the game off, though. But there's things that you can do by having. I would love to see them both out there. Although Ryan Hughes is doing such a great job. I really think you'll see Hill maybe getting a few more carries because he seems to have the hot hand right now. But you interrupted me. I didn't get to finish my story. We finished in Dallas with 6 guys on IV, and they had to keep the reporters out of the locker room because so many guys were just out of it. We just dehydrated because we weren't used to the heat, and it certainly can be a factor.
Well, speaking of Dallas, I want you to think about that schedule. They played last night.
Right.
They're going to play Thanksgiving Day. And they were on the road last night. That's a turnaround that should probably not be on the schedule. That's rough.
That is a tough turnaround. How about that? Go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, I was going to say, I guess the one advantage to that is they're playing at home. So that half of the day isn't as big a factor, and I'm sure the coaches have already done some preparation. They're playing a team that they played before, it's a divisional team, so shouldn't be as bad. But that whole thing on Thursdays is tough anyway.
Not that this has anything to do with what we're talking about.
It doesn't have to. This is the Flying Pigskin.
But was that catch by Odell Beckham last night? Was that unbelievable? Unbelievable. First of all, to find the ball, because he's kind of hand fighting with the guy, and he kind of pops through, and then he finds the ball, and the ball is actually behind him and over his head the other side, and he's got to have the strongest thumb and index finger that you've ever seen, because literally it seemed like he caught it with those 2 fingers. It's unbelievable.
It was like this was scripted. It wasn't 4 minutes before that they were showing him, in pregame warm-ups catching with single-handed over the head, behind him, underneath, straight. And then, lo and behold, it happens for a touchdown. When you hear Chris Collinsworth freaking out, I was in another room. I go running over. I'm like, this has got to be good. I got to rewind this and watch this thing. It was incredible.
David Tyree off his helmet, back in the Super Bowl. It was better than that, though. I thought it was just terrific. It really was.
It was different, though. But the one in the Super Bowl was more dramatic because it was in a much bigger game, and that'll probably go down as the biggest catch in in Giants history. But the one last night has got to go down as the greatest catch. Maybe
Jimmy,
greatest catch, one of the greatest catches ever.
great to have you with us on this Monday. Have a great week.
All right, hopefully next week we will have the computer issues straightened away.
Well, I know. Skype is down all over.
That's right. That's what we're
That's
going
what we're going with.
with. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
See you. Jim Breech. Love having Jim on.
Absolutely. Perspective from a former player.
Now for some perspective from,
Yes.
from a player.
He's a player.
Look at you, Max.
Now, your headgear always seems to match what your shirt is. I've just noticed that.
Great.
The real McCoy is nothing if not fashionable.
That's how I play it. You know,
I know
what I'm
it is.
saying?
I
But
know.
check this out. Can you get a shot of this? Strati just bought me a new watch, man. You know,
Oh, here we go.
Stratman
He's
just,
been showing
you
this
know,
thing off for 3 days.
Yeah, Strati just bought me a new watch. Thanks, Stratman.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
unless
saying?
you bought that with one of those grab machines.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
that much
I just
money
wish
to
it
you.
was bigger
Yeah,
so
like
we could
Toy
see
Story.
it, Mike.
Yeah, if you
Is that
can't
a-
see that, you know,
Is that a Rolex or a Joke X?
I'll leave that alone. You know what it is,
You
baby.
said the Texans were going to win.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
well, let's get right to it.
Okay.
Let me
First
explain
of all,
something to you.
First of all,
I think the word you used was guaranteed.
I
yeah.
did guarantee that, but you know, it's some factors that come into play.
Oh,
okay,
here we go.
Let me go on my little box here and
Yeah.
show you where I be getting some of my predictions
Okay.
from. But what happened is my 8-ball, I dropped it. That gives me my predictions. you
Oh,
know?
that's not
Okay.
good.
So I dropped it. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, if
Do you have anything else in there?
some tree. Let me be honest with you. If the quarterback Ryan was not hurt, he was hurt before the game.
Here we go.
No, I'm
We're
serious.
revising
if
things.
you read he got hurt in the warm-ups. His pectoral muscle.
Yeah.
He screwed that up, and then
Well, what was wrong with the coach then? Did he not tell the coach?
well, these guys, they like to play through pain. You know,
Well,
it's
here's
just they don't want to sit down.
If your arm's falling off, don't you think you should probably tell the coach that?
Maybe
I
that's
agree,
important.
but these players just don't do it. Now, if the shoe was on the other foot, it was Andy Dalton. You guys, oh my God, this, that, and the other. But honestly,
You would
and
have
then
been that way.
You know, I know you have to have people to step up. Then you have the best running back in the NFL not playing. Foster wasn't playing, so I'm
He is
not.
not the best running back. in
Well,
the NFL.
he's damn near one of the best. I put it like that. Okay.
Near
top running
one
back.
of the best.
Okay.
He's
but
not even the best running back in that division.
No.
isn't their run game number 1 in the NFL?
Well, it's third.
Okay, well, it's close enough. So
Yeah.
when him in there,
close enough
you know,
to
the
I think
Bengals
this is
can't
something we
stop
get
the
from
run a
PJ.
guy that
Start looking that
big.
up, PJ.
So, you know, I understand now why, you know, Matt comes over my office and we need you at the beginning of this show this morning. I was like, why the beginning? He's like, oh, people don't get a chance to see you.
we're getting
I'm
two
like,
now.
dude, y'all just want to whoop up on me when I predict things correctly.
No, that's
throw
not
me
that
on the
kind of
end.
show. It's not that kind
Oh,
of
yeah,
show.
Right.
No.
Okay. Yeah, but let's get back to football.
Yeah,
Like I
okay,
said,
good.
okay, Andy Dalton almost gave that game away again yesterday.
Well, he
didn't
did. He did.
Didn't he?
We had that
Defense
moment.
won that game yesterday. Defense won
Yes,
that game.
but again,
Yes.
the offense just does enough so the defense can do its thing. The reason why that offense had underperformed earlier this year is because the defense had a bunch of guys hurt. They couldn't get off the field, and the offense was put in disadvantageous situations. In years past, the defense didn't do that. Now the defense is healthy again, and it's not happening. That's why they won the last 2 games.
Okay, I agree with that. But if you had a decent quarterback that wasn't hurt, the Bengals would have lost yesterday. And like I said, I'm not.
Well, that's the coach's fault.
Well, I agree, but
Or if he didn't know. I mean, there's a potential he did
Well,
not know.
I kind of knew that this guy was either on cold medication or something was going on because these balls are flying up in the stands and they're going in the ground. I mean, something had to be wrong.
Gentlemen,
I agree. But wasn't Andy Dalton balls going the other way too?
Hang on a second.
Gentlemen, I'm back. I wanted to.
Yeah,
make
nice
sure
to have
that
you
I
back. Where were you last
proceeded,
week?
yes,
Am I
I'm
gentleman too?
on sabbatical.
No.
I was
And lady.
I was researching
That's
things.
close enough.
PJ O'Keefe, he runs WCPO.com
yes.
and All Things Interactive.
I am always running. It's a fatigue thing. Yes, that's what it was last week. It was a fatigue. Too
Was
much
it?
running.
Were you fatigued last
Too
week?
much running. Can't do it all that much. Just want to chime in with a couple things. Arian Foster, were it not for the couple of games he's missed due to injury, he would be the second best running back in the
Second
league.
most prolific. Let's be fair.
Second
that
most
doesn't
prolific,
mean best.
5.1 yards per carry, 7 touchdowns, which actually matches the league, second in the league, or excuse me, third in the league.
Are you trying to say Mike was right?
I am trying to say Mike was right. I'm
Mike, you
sorry
were right.
to
I'm
report.
I'm
What
sorry.
can I say?
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
That's so Arian Foster is legit. He is legit.
I could tell you 3 running backs I'd rather have before him.
You say rather have, but the
Oh.
statistics prove it. That's a guy talking back there that can't even win $5.
I'm talking talent, man. I'm talking talent.
Although to be fair, PJ said he would be the second
Second best. DeMarco Murray.
which is not the best.
That's true. So I guess you're not wholly right.
See, they want to hang out a technicality. I'm
That's like
giving you
saying,
some. I'm giving you some props here.
Denver Broncos were the best. Were the champions of football last year, right? No, I'm sorry. They lost the Super Bowl. They were second best.
Well,
Right?
what are you trying to say, Brian? What are you trying to say?
He didn't even talk the first 5 shows. Now you can't shut the guy up.
Exactly.
He's getting his per game average up.
Coffee. Yeah, I gotta get my numbers up.
There you go.
Okay.
So real quick on Mallett too, by the way, this is a guy who spent 4 years behind one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's finally got his shot.
Right.
I think if any one of us were waiting 4 years to get the light on us, the spotlight on us, I'd play through a broken leg. I mean, I just want to throw that out there. I don't think it's unfair for Ryan to have withheld whatever may have ailed him.
He threw the ball pretty well for having,
He threw
He
horribly.
was horrible.
No,
What
I
if
mean,
you
if
threw
you
the
have
ball
a torn
well?
I'm just saying, if you have a
Torn pectoral muscle.
Yeah.
Mike gets flustered and he forgets his duties as a
yeah.
technical
Andy
director.
Dalton throws like that, and his arm is good. You know, what do you got to say about that? Andy Dalton
Don't
throws
take
that
that.
way.
A guy with a blindfold on could have thrown better than Ryan Mallett threw yesterday.
Yeah.
Good
But
Lord.
the play calling also was very good on the Bengals.
Bengals,
behalf.
I thought, absolutely.
The
They
play
took
calling
advantage, yes.
was excellent. You know,
Yeah, you
but
get-
Marvin almost screwed that up with these timeouts. I don't know what
Was that
happened.
nice?
Yeah.
What
Was that
that?
nice at the end of the first half? We take a knee, but Marvin called timeout with 3 seconds to go, and we went back out and took the knee again. Remember that the last play of the first
You
half?
can see him on camera apologizing to Dalton after that. I'm sorry. He realized that was.
We're like, what are
weird.
they going to do with 3 seconds on their own 40-yard line? Oh, here we go. We're going to take a knee again.
Now, it's not going to be a cakewalk when they go down to Tampa Bay.
Oh, my-
It's not going to be
You
a
and I could
cakewalk.
find 9 other people and beat Tampa.
I'm telling you,
Let's
dude.
go to Fountain Square right now.
I'm telling you, dude.
Tampa's horrible.
Okay, those are the games that the Bengals should crush teams, and they don't do it.
For one thing,
Well, that is true.
All right, well, Mike, who's going to win next week? Let's
Tampa
talk-
Bay's going to win next week.
Okay.
Tampa
All
Bay's gonna win
and,
next
And we
week.
got to get your poll question answer. Who should carry the ball more, Hill, Bernard, or equal carries?
Hill. Hill.
I think he's proven he's the workhorse. I think he still play Bernard, but he's more of a break up the action kind of thing.
Now,
back to this game. First of all, the team quit on Lovie Smith at least twice this year. Secondly, Lovie Smith, he might be on cold medication. He keeps starting Luke McCown or Josh McCown or somebody's in town. And Mike Lennon, at least that dude's got a pulse. So, I mean, it's like Lovie wants to detonate himself in all these games. The Buccaneers have no shot next week.
but see, the deal is, it's like this, Ken. You know, the law averages when you lose so much, sooner or later you're going to have to win. It's
Why
just
does
the
that
law
have to be
average.
against the Bengals?
Right, thank
Mike,
you.
come on.
Thank you.
The Bengals, they're taking you on that roller coaster ride. You're up
Yeah,
here
that's
now. Next week you're going to be
I don't
down
think
here.
we're up here. I think we're on that we're just a steady stater right now.
But what I'm saying is the roller coaster ride that they give you. You know, I would love to jump ship and be. I'm tired of that up down. I can't do it. I
Mike,
just
are you
can't.
making a bet on this game next week?
Yes.
I am too.
I
I want
am.
it.
Yeah, I'm on it.
I want some. I want some.
Okay.
I'm on it. Speaking of Tampa Bay, though, someone needs to cover Evans, the big rookie. He's a good receiver.
Yeah, he's good, but you got to have somebody throw the ball to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, McCown's horrible. He's worse than the guy they played yesterday.
And Andy Dalton can be horrible too.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
we didn't get to that yet.
yeah.
You know, so what are you saying? I'm telling you, dude, don't be shocked that the Bengals don't go down there and lay a big
Are
fat
you
L.
shocked by anything in life?
No.
Yeah, I'm not.
am
I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay, so what's the deal? Is you saying that Tampa Bay can't win?
No, I'm saying they won't win. Can they win? Sure. If they eat bad lobster the night before and everybody gets sick down there, yeah, Tampa Bay can win. But if you just line these
There
two
you go.
teams up, there's no way.
There's no way. That's what I thought, that J.J. Watt was just going to have his way.
No, you know what they did, Mike? They know what they did? This was so smart on Hugh Jackson's part. They were all 3-step drops for
Yeah,
Dalton. They
quick.
took J.J.
Quick.
Watt completely out of his game.
Well, he was still in the game, but he didn't make those fantastic, sacks and that sort of thing. But who it was what? The guy was 324 pounds he was going up against.
Yeah, he was.
You know, and he, what, 269 or something like that?
Yeah.
There's just no way you can move a big guy around like that.
All right, who's in on Mike's money this week?
Well, I need to, I need to start funding for Christmas. So,
Matt, you in on this?
Hey,
might be
Strop,
nice.
you got
Nice.
a lot
Got
of
two little
nerve back
girls.
there, man. Thanks for the watch, dude.
You in on
Yeah.
this? Okay.
Hey,
No,
McCoy's
I'm
going to show up
good.
next week
I'm
with
good.
a swatch.
Hey, just tell him what you said, dude, the other day, Strop. I mean, what did you tell him? Oh, man, I'm tired of McCoy winning my money. I'm not going to bet him no
I
more.
did not say that.
Yes, you
Mike,
did.
but Mike wins because he wins the bets when McCoy wins when Stratman is willing to bet, and then when Stratman should bet, he's afraid to.
I know. I'm in on this.
You're good. You playing good head games with me. That's for sure.
Well, you guys bet straight up or with the points?
We just straight up.
Points?
Straight
What do you need
up.
Points for?
Straight up. They go straight
All right,
up.
I'm in.
You in?
Yeah, how much?
He's a $5 man.
Well,
So
don't worry about that. How high you want to go?
oh, high?
Yeah. What is there, an echo in here?
Wait a
Yeah.
minute. As much money as you make, man, we go $1,000, man. I'd like to get you for $1,000.
Yeah. I'll go 5 with you on this.
Okay,
I'll go 5.
Okay.
And I will pay up.
All right, you got 5 on it.
And a parking spot.
No.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Brogan already got on me about giving up his parking space.
Oh.
So if he said if I gave his up, he was going to take mine. So
Yeah,
negate
don't
the
give
parking
his
space.
up, give up
we
another
can't
one.
damage. Yeah,
I didn't know
careers
anybody had
here.
reserved spaces.
Sure.
How does that happen?
If you fly like me, you got to see the man. I'm the man. If you see me,
He's got
you're
the
going to
spray
get what you
paint
want,
and
baby.
everything.
That's how I
Yeah.
roll.
The other option is coming to work at 3:30 in the morning. You also
Oh,
get
you
a
get it.
parking space then.
He's the real McCoy, Mike McCoy. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Now, standing by at his mother's basement is another guy that we like to welcome in and week out, and that would be Johnny Bag of Donuts. Johnny, good morning.
Good morning. How is everyone?
Good. Do you have product in your hair, John?
He's got that Dalton product.
Yeah, he's yeah.
I don't think Dalton uses product, and I don't use product either.
You don't?
No.
Is
I
that
think
just-
that's all natural on Dalton's
Is it?
part.
So what, did you stick your head out the window this morning in all the wind, and that's what it looks
No,
like?
I just woke up. That's what happened. That's how it works.
Wow.
Hey, BOD, did you watch the game?
Nope.
Why not?
Did you see pictures on the internet about it?
He sees other pictures on the internet. He doesn't watch it.
Yeah, I saw some stuff on Facebook. People had some comments. But yeah,
Were they positive?
they were. I think things went well yesterday.
Yeah.
I feel good about us.
So what do you do at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when most of America is watching football? What do you do at 1 o'clock in the afternoon?
I think I was sleeping. Like
How many hours a day do you average of sleep, BOD?
I don't know. I've never really counted, but
He's not a mathematician.
That's a good point.
Thank you. Is that Brian? Who was that?
That was Brian.
That was Brian.
Yeah, Brian's discovered a voice lately.
What's up, Brian?
Nothing, just working. I'm just a work man. That bed's looking good.
Thanks.
I feel like I'm on a first date.
Yeah, that was a little too
The
personal
most
for me.
awkward first date ever.
Yeah, would you date a guy like
We're
this?
at least on
No.
third date material now. This is third
Yeah,
date
Brian
material.
and I are way past first date. So.
Oh, okay then.
John, I like what you've done with the place. It looks like you've straightened it up since we last saw you.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not going to go much further. But hey, I heard we got a sponsor. Is that right?
Yes. How about that? And a commercial today too.
Ooh.
Can we get and this sponsor? What's their name?
John wants to know his cut.
We welcome BRG Apartments.
Man, and so can they hook me up with like a place because
Sure, absolutely.
Is
Now,
your-
they
has
might
your
need
mom-
first and last month's rent though.
Right.
Has your mom been sending you subtle hints, BOD, about
right?
possibly
Yeah.
vacating?
No, I think this would be like a great fundraiser campaign, like get BOD out of his mom's house.
Okay,
Like
Kickstarter.
brought to you by B&G Apartments. Yeah.
Right, and funny you should mention that, John, because we need to take a break right now.
A commercial break.
Yes,
So exciting.
with the
This
Flying
is so
Pigskin.
real, guys.
Yes, with Johnny Bag of
It's all
Donuts.
happening.
We'll be right back.
BRG Apartments is offering fantastic savings for every new move-in to one of BRG's 34 communities. Find your home before the holidays, and BRG will donate $50 to the Free Store Food Bank. Visit us at brgapartments.com.
So there you go, John, and I'll
That
work
was-
on the apartment for you.
That was real.
That was real.
What do you-
I've never
yeah,
been
well,
more
it's
excited to see a commercial.
This is the
I
internet.
know.
Of course it's real.
Wow.
Johnny,
We've really come around, guys. I'm proud of all of us, all the work we've put into this.
Mom's got the hot cakes going upstairs. Thanks, John.
Hey, love you guys.
No one responds. Bye, BOD.
Let's go to the newsroom. Chris Reeve is standing by.
We got to get him hooked up. Our Skype machine isn't that quick.
It's down all over the country.
What is your opinion, Ken, on who should carry the ball the most on this Cincinnati Bengal football team with the current health situation?
Regardless if he's healthy or not, I think it's Jeremy Hill. I don't care about Gio Bernard anymore. I mean, it's nice.
Really?
Yeah. Dude,
he was a fad.
Right. Wait a minute. Hill had 152 and 154 in 2 or 3 weeks. He would have had a big game against Cleveland, but they got mad at him when he fumbled. Why wouldn't you go with that guy? I don't care about Gio Bernard right now.
I think he's the workhorse. Yes, Bernard is a good. Oh my goodness. Bernard is a good. Change of pace. I think it's a good compliment to him.
You can do other things with Bernard. You can put him out in the flank. You might be able to do some other things besides handling the ball. I think he's a nice guy. Well, I don't even know him, but I'm assuming he is. But
how could he not be?
Right. But I think Jeremy Hill is the guy right now. You got to go with the hot hand and all this. Let's give him the carry. No, I thought they did a nice job yesterday because they weren't sure what Bernard was capable of doing. But I think you go with the guy that's hot right now.
I like seeing the split.
This is that same argument though that you have with 2 good receivers. You're not going to just always throw to A.J. Green. You have to have a Snoot. You have to.
And hey, Hill has he's averaging 1 yard per carry more than Gio, and I think, if you want to find a comparison for them that puts them in the same light, that's it right there.
Yeah, but
how is it skewed though?
He has fewer carries than Gio, doesn't he?
No, actually he doesn't.
That's what I thought.
He has 5 more carries than Gio. So
that math thing keeps getting in Ken's way.
They're actually fairly even as far as equality of opportunity, but I mean Hill's off the charts as far as.
Well, let's bring in the knower of all things, Chris Riva.
Oh, good Lord.
Yes. Chris,
really?
Yeah.
I know Chris puts product in his hair, by the way.
Okay, we're not hearing him. Mike got flustered again. Chris, say that again. What were you saying?
That's the role I'm playing today?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes.
So after the first commercial break is now going downhill, is what you're saying.
It's okay. We hit the meter. Don't worry about it.
What's going on?
Chris, what are they saying on social media right now about our Cincinnati Bengals?
Love them or hate them, the number one thing trending about the Cincinnati Bengals, you guys probably can guess it, Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of interesting things. First of all, Andy Dalton took a series of slideshows of the game yesterday. So if you follow Andy Dalton himself, you can see his dad, his mom, his family.
It was his dad's birthday.
Wait a minute, he's taking pictures as the game's going on?
I'm sure I thought of Matty right during the pick six yesterday, probably losing his mind or beating somebody with the top of beer bottle. But how about this? Most interceptions returned for a touchdown since 2011. Andy Dalton ranks among them. Matthew Stafford with 10, Dalton 8, Eli Manning 8, Phillip Rivers 8. So that stat was tweeted out just recently from Stat as well. So the other thing that is hot is the Vine video that is being tweeted out of just before the pick six. Jadeveon Clowney was offsides, and they missed that call.
I had somebody actually send me an email last night that they thought the fix was in, that the league wants the Bengals to lose.
Yeah, because if there's a team that the NFL is worried about, it is the Bengals.
I agree.
The juggernaut that is the Bengals.
I agree. There's so many conspiracy theorists out there.
The other thing I think is interesting is there was a couple of tweets from another local media outlet that said they have exorcised the demons in Houston, which I completely disagree with. And this is a Matt Lucan comment, until you win it in the postseason, and you exercise that demon.
Yeah.
Well, they're just talking about in the Andy Dalton world, and he didn't. He's gone down there and played as a pro and hasn't won. But yeah, was anybody else sick of the J.J. Watt show yesterday?
No, never.
How could you?
Never.
What is he just that cute, or you just like him?
I enjoy him.
Awesome.
Oh, it was terrible.
I like the commercial where he's dancing in his football uniform. Like that makes me happy.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's Strotman-esque like moves right there when he's dancing.
Yeah, I saw somebody tweeted out, congratulations CBS, you made it to the second quarter without essentially being all over J.J. Watt's ego.
Well, what were they going to do?
That's all they got. I mean, honestly.
You're going to put the guy with the torn pectoral muscle? I mean, come on.
But other than Foster, who wasn't playing, obviously, but other than Foster, nobody outside of Texas knows anybody who plays for that team.
Andre Johnson Kat, they know Andre Johnson.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No,
Should.
they don't. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Well, you know what? I would have loved to got more information on the quarterback instead of just J.J. Watt, J.J. Watt, J.J. Watt. I don't know this guy who's playing quarterback. They could have got me a little bit of something.
They could have at least told us he had a torn pectoral muscle.
Well, Buckeye fans know that.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Bowl game. So.
Yeah.
And the other person trending, obviously, was the win. Isn't it amazing how if they lose, they're in last place, but if they win, they're still.
Yeah, that's crazy. I sense there are a lot of people out there not convinced that this is the real deal now with the Bengals. I just sense that, I mean, even not outside of Cincinnati, I don't think there's a lot of people convinced it's the real deal.
No.
You know, the hater tweets. Hater tweets are, you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, you've seen the worst in Cleveland, and now you've seen another 2 solid weeks of play. You know what they're capable of on both ends of the spectrum.
Hey, Chris, is there nothing on Maluga?
Other than a selfie with him and Petco on the team bus on the way home, saying we just got our good man.
He just seems like he's playing for a contract. I don't know. He's playing a lot better.
Good, let him play for it. That's great, isn't it?
He just signed one, didn't he?
I don't think so.
No? I thought he saw like last year or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
That math thing, yeah. But he's played better, I think, in the last 2 games than I've ever seen him play.
Agreed.
I mean,
Especially yesterday.
he's huh?
You said that last week, yeah.
Well, in 2 weeks in a row. I mean, he's always just been sort of pedestrian. He fills the gap 5 yards downfield and tackles guys all the time. Now he's shooting through like Vontez sometimes does.
He puts product in his hair too.
Well,
he's
he's got that Samoan thing or whatever they do. Yeah.
And I think I found your old college friend Destiny on Twitter.
Is that with 2 E's? It's always with 2 E's.
You did, huh?
Yeah, Mr. Bill Bullock introduced me to an NFL tweet. What is that? A handle. That isn't appropriate even for the internet. It's hashtag NFL boobs. And there's quite a few. He was showing me quite a few pictures earlier.
I'm pretty sure back in the day our photographers participated in that.
Yeah.
The cutaways were always very specific.
She'd be about 62 now, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying, Chris?
She's 62 is what he's saying.
Yeah.
I would just like to point out, as the only holder of estrogen in this entire conversation.
Oh, don't be so sure.
That hashtag NFL other stuff would never have come up in conversation.
No.
Hashtag NFL package, that's not going to happen.
No.
Just throwing that out there.
Reva,
I'm on my soapbox.
But you know what, Chris? We rely on you to filter this stuff out, and I think you're doing
a
great job today.
If he's the filterer, we're in trouble.
Yeah. No, but I do think this. I think they're not getting a lot of respect around the country. I really do. And I don't know if that matters.
If they're not getting
but
respect here, they're certainly not getting respect.
Well, after what they did on Thursday night on national television, nobody's going to have any confidence in them until they win a playoff game.
You realize how big that rematch with the Browns is?
Hey, are they going to get to 10 wins now?
The Bengals?
Yeah, he started adding up. He started adding up a little different last week. He thinks maybe. Yeah.
What do they got now? 7?
7, 3, and 1.
And they got 5 games left.
Yeah, but hang on a second. Are they going to beat Pittsburgh twice? Are they going to go to Cleveland and win? Are they going to beat Denver here?
Yeah, that's why this week's so important.
It's huge.
Huge game this week.
It is. I mean, you got to knock down the pins on
when
this.
When you have a half game lead over 2, maybe 3 teams, every game is always huge.
I'll tell you another game's huge. Ravens at New Orleans tonight is huge. You know, is New Orleans going to lose 3 games in a row?
Right.
I'm going to call my shot now. They'll split with Pittsburgh, and they'll win in Cleveland.
They should win in Cleveland, yeah.
What about Denver?
Oof.
I'll tell you this. Well, let me just say this. It's going. I'll bet anybody right now. Well, I shouldn't say that because who knows who's watching. But I will say this: it's coming down to that last game, and I'm telling you, it's going to be the last game in Pittsburgh.
I agree. I don't know if it'll be for the playoffs, but I bet it might be for the division.
Well, the Browns play the Ravens, I think, too.
That's right, last game of the season.
Okay.
I'm hoping for a tie in that game.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, he's got work to do.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You know him?
I do.
Good. It is beyond an honor. It's so far over the rainbow spectrum that we like to talk about in the broadcasting industry that we now welcome in the legend, Dennis Janson, to
tell you what.
Flying Pigskin. Good morning, DJ.
Good morning. As I look out over the studded with scudding gray skies,
Here we go.
I think how fortunate to have found Ray Maluga after all these years.
We finally found Ray.
Where's Ray been? He finally got out of that Pinto that he was pushing around, I guess.
I think he might have.
Oh, my.
How is your hamstring? How is your hamstring before we?
My hamstring, I tell you what, for being 6 weeks removed from surgery, 6 weeks to the day, I am out on the patio right now enjoying a cup of coffee, and it's a beautiful morning. The air is warm, my gosh, and I'm up and walking.
It's
That's
pouring
the
rain
remarkable
out.
part.
Isn't it not pouring rain outside
It's
and
not
windy?
raining.
Oh, no. This is Indian Hill, brother.
They have an umbrella.
Sun always shines.
We order up at these prices.
Yeah.
No, I am very good. I am very fortunate. And Angelo Colosimo, he made bail, and he finally got his sticker back,
Right.
and he worked his surgical magic on me. And I've been told not to overdo it because I have a tendency to want to extend myself here. But you know what? You know what, guys? Physical therapy works. Duh.
Yeah. No, I
It's
know.
like
I saw your 2 cents worth last week when you came out in favor of the healthcare industry. I thought that really and truly that, you know, you look like you were chipper, and that's good.
Well, I am in favor of the healthcare industry such as I enjoy it.
Yes.
The real wild card is to have your family intact and have your family close by so they can look out to you. Because anybody who cashes a check and has to do the things to me that my family had to do for me, well, those people wonder whether it's worth it. I'm sure there are moments. So
what you're saying is when they helped you out, you didn't charge them rent to live in Indian Hill, right?
No. My family was absolutely. Hey, I tell you what, the one thing that my family did was very scrupulous about, and I mentioned it, was the fact that they monitored my intake of pain medicine. That's a real problem these days, I understand. So I'm up and at 'em and doing great. I appreciate all your concerns. So
This conversation has taken a circuitous route.
Hey, DJ, how about them Bengals? Okay.
Well, I tell you what. Seriously, who's the guy that backs up Andre Smith? Is it Morehouse or Limehouse from
Newhouse.
Justified? Or who?
Yeah, Marshall Newhouse.
Marshall Newhouse. Where did he come from all of a sudden? Because against Cleveland, he was, like Ken always says, he looked like he was playing on cough medicine.
Yeah.
And he has made such great strides, and he held his own yesterday. And Maualuga, you know, I don't think you can overstate, you know, his improvement and his determination recently. What's up with him? I heard you guys talking about that maybe he's in a contract year.
All I can tell.
He is.
Mike Trotman series, he's playing for a contract. He might be.
That's what I meant.
Reaching.
Yeah.
Free agent 2015.
Yeah, but he's the adult in the room. I mean,
Yeah,
they were
that
running
is
out
true.
guys that weren't even household names in their own households. I mean, Nico Johnson. Who heard of that cat before he showed up?
Nico's mom.
Yeah, right. So I mean, at least you got a guy in there that has played the position before. I think that was huge. Him coming back.
Yep. Yeah, and they just now Carlos Dunlop has been MIA. Did they have how many sacks did they have yesterday? Granted, Ryan Mallett around and knows size 17s. He's not very easy to track down.
Yeah, one sack total yesterday.
Yeah. But then again, Mike Nugent had a good game. He's been money since he missed the game winner. All in all, they've been playing pretty well. But then again, I say that, and then there's Jermaine Gresham. You know, he can't. One tackler can bring him down so effectively.
Right.
He can't shed tacklers, and he just shies away from contact.
Yeah, he looked like he was wearing those Tony Soprano Bruno Mollies yesterday. I mean, it was just he caught the ball and he looked like RoboCop. I mean, we have a poll question here. Who would you rather see get the majority of the carries, Gio Bernard or Jeremy Hill? What would your opinion be on that?
Jeremy Hill.
I agree with you.
Jeremy Hill. Yeah, he is. He's a handful.
Yeah, and he's hot too. I mean, you know, he's just Bernard's good, but I mean, why force it? Give it to the guy that's playing well.
I think that the bigger issue in this conversation, Ken, is that this is a monumentous moment. Dennis Janson has not dropped a name yet.
Oh,
Not in the-
Catherine, am I like that? You know, Marty.
That's the thing I love most about Dennis. Dennis is like, so I was hanging out with Johnny Bench and.
Marty Brenneman accuses me of dropping names
Well,
again.
Angelo Colosimo is sort of dropping a doctor's name.
That's a good one.
In the medical field, that's sort of dropping
That's a good one.
name.
That's a good one. And he just dropped Marty's name about dropping names, so
Yeah,
we're good.
all you had to do was just
We're good.
You see, the problem is when you've been around as long as DJ has and knows as many people,
That's accurate.
it's just part of the fabric of
It
the
is so-
conversation. That's
so
all.
magnanimous.
Now, Ken, I appreciate that, but you and I know that Pat Barry knows about 10 times more people than I will ever know.
And he never had his hamstring repaired, at least to our knowledge. Do they get to 10 wins, DJ?
Can they get to 10 wins?
Yes. 3 more. They need 3 more.
Well, they absolutely have to win at Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can get there.
I think if they beat Tampa Bay, 10 is a given almost. But
We've
they'd have to
seen
really fall apart.
Pittsburgh look dreadful. We've seen Cleveland look really good, but we've also seen them stumble. Yeah, it can be done. Now, will they? If they play anywhere near as well and as efficiently as they did yesterday, yeah, they can get to 10. But boy, that tie, oh man, that's going to come back to haunt. Can you believe that
It throws
your
everything off.
season hinges on a tie? Oh man.
Well,
and a chip shot field goal. But, you know, yeah, they can get to 10. Now, will they? Gosh, we can only hope, because they've certainly shown a lot of resilience here, a lot of resourcefulness. And I'd like to see Jeremy Hill be rewarded with a playoff berth in his first season. See what he can do when the big lights are on in the big show. Giovanni Bernard, I'd like to see him stay healthy the rest of the way. But then that's if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. What didn't Bob Dylan say that in one of his songs?
There's always one of those Dennyisms. I was waiting for it.
Denny, I know that as you look out, standing there on your deck with your bathrobe and your ascot and sipping your cappuccino, they're
Smoking
watching
jacket.
the rest of the minions go to work. We appreciate your time here on this Monday.
Anytime, I'm always available to share a moment with my esteemed colleagues. God bless all of you and have a great day.
Thank you, DJ.
Thanks, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.
Piece
God
of work.
blessed us,
He did, God bless us.
which is better than what some people have done with the word God in my
It
presence.
did start that
Now,
way.
you know, one of the things that we do each week, Catherine, is we take you to the Vox Populi here in town.
Yes.
And our man on the street is
Busting out the Latin.
Mr. Satin, and his subject this week, Mr. Satin's subject this week is touchdown dance celebrations. Let's watch him.
Hey, what's up? This is Mr. Satin for the Flying Pigskin Show. We're down here at Paul Brown Stadium, and we want to see your touchdown dance.
So if we're counting at home, one girl almost got hit by a car
Yes.
or by a truck.
Totally.
The others might have been alcohol infused.
Oh, you think?
But yeah, so only one Icky Shuffle. That's a shocker.
Speaking of alcohol infused, welcome Mr. Satin again to the show. And honestly, how did you get people to do that?
Well, you know, I think
think you're right on that. There was a little bit of drinking implied.
Liquid courage.
Implied, right? I guess I can't confirm that, but I think people were ready to show the love. We're ready for the touchdown.
Well, some of those dances were pretty good.
Yeah, a little bit of a rain dance
Yeah.
almost.
There
if you
was
will.
one guy. There was one guy who said, "Come back to me in about 20 or 30 minutes, then I'll be ready to do my touchdown."
Yeah, he was like, beep, beep, 20 minutes? Like, you need 20? All right.
But I forget who the woman was, but she's down there and she's got it going on like that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
pretty good. I'd throw my back out doing something like that, but she's down there and it's almost like Flo. Hey, hang on a second. This is for the kids. It was almost like Flo Rida, going down.
Yeah, Flo Rida. Whoa.
Yeah.
That is one of those things I never thought I'd heard Kenford say.
Yeah.
Flo Rida.
That's great. I was expecting some MC Hammer, but I mean, that
Well, they
was
did have the
good.
pants. It seemed like there were some Hammer pants happening.
And then the kid and play was pretty
Kid
hard.
and play
huge.
was
Yeah.
strong. I enjoyed that. The kid and play was strong.
Now, Mr. Satin, as you're out there talking to these people, people are full of optimism until the games start. And then it's like the least little thing that goes wrong, people are like, they're happy they started drinking. But I mean, do you sense among the populace here that there's not this air of confidence?
I think there really is. I think it's like the home games are all about the confidence, but the road games, that kind of builds your self-esteem. That's sort of like, hey, if I can win these away games, I feel great, and I got more swagger coming home.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, the drinking's there. That's going to happen, but people are ready for touchdowns, and that was like the rain dance, bringing the touchdowns. We saw it yesterday.
Right.
I think we're getting more excited about, how can we get more of these touchdown dances going? So that's yes.
Catherine, do you think anybody'd show up for football games if they couldn't drink?
No.
There'd be nobody.
No, very few. Very few. And I will say that those 4 o'clock games, man, it gets rough.
Right.
Because the tailgate doesn't start any later.
What do you think about that Monday night game with Denver coming up? It's going to be just unbelievable.
But at least there are some people who might have to work.
Right.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Who knows?
This was an interesting touchdown dance.
What is this
That
dance?
was nice.
Is
It was sort of like the Macarena. He sort of stuck his arms out. I don't know how that really works.
it was like
This is what I thought your vision was, Mr. Satin. I thought maybe you could explain this for us, but I don't understand it.
Yeah,
He's done it once before.
Yeah, I'd like to get him on the show to discuss further.
I'm sure he's not doing anything 7 o'clock on a Monday.
Right.
Then he would be on the list of all-time Bengal greats.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
But it's
I
kind of
just got
like
my guy's number right there. But that's all right.
it was Macarena. Then it was, what do they call it? Thing Genghis Khan. That was
Yeah,
a couple
yeah,
of, and then it
Genghis
almost
Khan.
looked like a marimba or something like that.
Yeah, there's a
What
little
was that
cabbage
called? What
patch
was that
going
called?
into it. There's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
A little cornucopia
Yeah.
of goodness.
It was-
I
it
like
was-
that.
Cornucopia of goodness.
But-
I'm just
ride
excited
the
we
bike
can
a little
see some
bit.
touchdown dances.
Yeah, but everybody's got one of those things
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Nobody just like hands the ball to the.
But when they do, I feel like that's their own touchdown dance. Do you know what I mean? Like there's those couple of people who just hand it right off, but I feel like that's their own version of standing out above the rest of the masses.
Yeah,
who
like
look
Paul
like
Brown
idiots.
used to say, act like you've been
Thank
there
you.
before.
That's true.
Well, for
Okay.
some people,
Like,
they haven't.
like Ocho Cinco, right?
Well,
Been there.
you know-
Hall of Fame jacket. Come on, that was hilarious.
but-
It was.
Does anybody miss that? That's a great
I
point.
actually
Does
do. I
do
loved
you miss
it.
those
I loved it.
Cinco celebration?
I thought it was
I
fun.
like AJ Green better than Ocho Cinco because I
Classy.
think he's doing better.
But he doesn't
that's
celebrate.
true.
He
was
doesn't
pretty
celebrate.
good.
Ocho
though.
was pretty good.
He was one of the best receivers in the league for 4 or 5 years.
He was the best player on a lot of lousy Bengal teams.
But Chad Johnson sort of brought that arena football to the
That's
NFL,
true.
not
That's
vice
true.
versa, right?
You remember the one year? You might have been still in sports. I don't know, where he said that he hit a reindeer with his car, and he had the reindeer in his
No.
garage,
Reindeer.
No,
and he
I
was
remember
nursing
this
it
one.
back to health, and he was going to bring the reindeer out. It was like a Christmas gift, and he's going to bring the reindeer out and dance with the reindeer in the end zone. And
wait
like
for
we're all there
Santa.
going,
Really?
and you're not really sure whether the guy's telling the truth or not.
Right.
It was hilarious. Oh yeah, I love that
You
stuff.
never knew with him.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, it's just
What
like
about
a
that-
crazy episode of Saw or something.
Yeah, but there was a lot of other
Touchdown
nonsense
dance.
with him, but I mean, it was
Entertaining.
That was fun stuff. It
Yeah.
really was.
Who was that guy yesterday who had the touchdown dance where he had a just had a baby, just had a daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they interviewed him afterwards.
Oh, my
gosh.
That went on a little bit too long.
It did.
Yeah,
I saw it too many
you
times.
You don't ever see that.
But you were.
You know what went on
glued
too
to that.
long? It was the commentator saying, "Isn't that great?"
Yeah.
That a man
They
loves
didn't.
his
They should have
baby."
just. They should have
Like,
just
that's
let.
so surprising.
Once he
There's a
started
lot
to
of that.
cry, they should have just said thank you, God bless, and let him go.
Yeah,
Right.
you
They
didn't
wanted to
see
get him
it.
to cry some more.
His baby was born yesterday morning. He was there for
Yeah.
the birth of his daughter. Then he went to the football game, scored a touchdown. Everybody's happy.
And then Bart Scott comes on and he says, "This is the new man. He actually the new man
Right.
actually loves his kids." Really?
Pretty sure the old ones do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
Anyway.
not forget about the old dads here. Come on.
He might as well have said, "This guy's not, a wife beater." That's essentially what
say
he's
it.
trying to say.
Well, but I agree that I think it went on a little too long, but it was really. I mean, you were like, "Wow, I'm watching that." Really kind of cool. I thought. Well, I'm kind of geeked.
Way
I
to
think.
bring it down.
No. We're talking about moments.
Maybe
We
we
are.
could do like
That's true.
touchdown dances with dads or something.
I mean, because
you
at
know,
the end
like
of the day, Catherine, what do you have at the end of a lifetime except moments, memories?
I'm telling you.
Here's what I
The
do.
sound bites from today's show.
It's sort of like a football season.
It is. Here's what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. You're gonna love this.
Okay,
Women like this stuff.
Oh.
Oh my
Okay.
God, you're a woman.
I'm glad you're representing them all.
Set up.
What women want.
If you have to explain it before you say it, that's probably not true.
This sounds like another Kid
Wait a
Root
minute.
show
This
coming
is-
on
Wasn't
here
this a
now.
movie?
I'm telling you, this is a home
All right,
run.
here we go.
All right, so
Gotcha.
I moved into this house and I got these walls that needs things up on them. So
Things.
right. So I bought like these multiple frames that you can put things. And so this is what I said to her. I said, well, we're going to put this. We were here in this picture. I said, and we're going to leave one blank, and we're going to have in there reserved for our next memory. How about that?
Ooh,
And
is
the
that-
words were coming out, and I didn't even know what I was saying, and it was like, wow! When I got done, I said, "Holy crow! Isn't that cool?"
Did she enjoy it?
She went like that, and walked away.
She was melting.
All right.
My wife likes when I clean.
Listen,
really
every
enjoyed
wife
that.
will like when you clean. Everybody. It's simple. Forget the diamonds. Forget
think
the
that's what
furs
she
and the purses. Just clean and don't yell. That's all you need.
We want to thank our fine sponsor, BRG Apartments.
It's amazing.
Thank you again for that. We want to thank the great folks at Furniture Fair for this furniture that we get to sit on and nestle into every Monday. And we want to thank you for watching and listening. Download the app. Listen to this on your way to work. Every one of these shows are up on WCPO.com and available for your downloading pleasure. And we're all back next Monday with another edition of the Flying Pigskin. Thanks to our great crew. Have a great week. And yes, pigs do fly
Happy
every Monday at
Thanksgiving.
7.